Hi guys, welcome to Maggie's journey. Today we're making pepper soup and cassava. These are the ingredients that you'll need. Please find the full list in the description box below. Today I'll be using lamb meat, but you can use whichever meat you want really. Before we do start, please make sure that the meat is washed properly. Then you want to season it with some aromat and massage that seasoning in. Cling film that, refrigerate ideally overnight or 4 hours before you start cooking. To make the pepper soup, we're going to start by cutting onions, which are then going to go into a blender. So as you can see, I'll be cutting them into halves, and I'm using 2 large onions. Off camera, I had to cut the onions into quarters instead of halves. But now you essentially just want to put your Scotch bonnets or whichever chili of choice into your blender, along with the garlic and the piece of ginger and of course the onions. And in that blender you do want to add a 1/4 cup of water, and then you want to give that a blend for about 10 seconds. Now that everything is blended, the mixture should look something like this. What you want to do is get an empty container, pour about 3/4 of the mixture out, leave a quarter so that you can use that liquid to then blend the tomatoes. And you just want to put in as many tomatoes as you can fit, and then pop the lid on, continue blending, pour the mixture into the same container. Now that everything is blended, it should look something like this. What you want to do now is, with a clean pot, empty out the seasoned meat. In this case, I'm using lamb. And with that, you want to add chopped spring onions into the same pot and about a 1/4 cup of water. And you're just going to let that steam for about 4 or 5 minutes. Please make sure that you put the lid on the pot while it's steaming, and after about 4 to 5 minutes it should look something like this. What you want to do now is add your Maggie cube and the chili paste that you created earlier, along with a glass and a half of water, and then you just want to let that cook for a further 20 minutes or until the meat is nice and tender. Now that your pepper soup has finished cooking, you want to prepare your cassava by cutting it in half and peeling all of the brown bits off of it. It should be completely white all the way around. And then you want to wash your cassava once it's peeled. Once the cassava is peeled and has been washed, what you want to do now is cut it up into your desirable pieces. I like to call this method chopping off the block. However, you can use a chopping board. Your cassava should look something like this once it's been cut up. In a separate pan with boiling water, you want to empty your cassava chunks into that and cook for about 15 minutes. Once cooked, your cassava should have a translucent and soft texture, something like this. Once your cassava is cooked, you want to transfer that into really cold water and let that cool down, and it should look something like this. Now what you could do is, using your hand, you could form them into little boats, little cassava boats that are gonna float in your pepper soup river along with the lamb meat. Or you could just drain it from the cold water and just have the little pieces floating around in your pepper soup. Choice is completely up to you. This is my favourite part of cooking, which is essentially when we dish the food and eat. I hope you do enjoy this recipe. I think it was really delicious. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss another video. Let me know how it goes for you in the comment section. I do love reading the comments. Have a great day and enjoy your pepper soup.